My dad was a great salesman. Golf Magazine, Entrepreneur Magazine, print media, then boom, the digital landscape took place and the world didn't need him anymore. I watched what that does to a person. It also happened to me. In this ever-growing industry of technology, AI, people are constantly worried about being obsolete in their skill set. The point of this video is, don't become obsolete and make yourself more valuable. When my dad lost his job, he didn't panic. He became useful in a different way. My dad's story was about being very successful in a time when a dollar could stretch a lot further. Part of this preparation is having a little bit of humility. And I know a lot of us can be unhappy in a job that we don't love, but it's important to recognize the necessity for that job and building something else on your own. Before I got my corporate job, I did a million different small, seasonal, part-time jobs. I was a musician chasing a career that is already heavily congested and very hard to break through. I was passionate about it, and some of those tie-ins relate to content creating today. I'm thankful that I'm getting back into it, but the journey in the last 10 years has been extremely turbulent. I spent 9 years at a corporate job, moving parallel around multiple departments, trying to figure out where I best fit in. My skill sets matched each different department when I was there. I was a high performer, a good networker, and a friendly colleague, but I always felt like I could do more, and the growth was not there. Being a brand new dad and having more responsibility, I felt as though I needed to make more money. An opportunity presented itself, and it was a decision that I was making. I needed to rip the Band-Aid for autonomy and self-worth. Some would argue that that safety net would have saved me from all the disasters I went through in the last 3 years, but I made the decision anyway. And when I jumped to the new job, I had a massive increase in salary. After 6 months, they let me go. I don't know if any of you ever felt this feeling, and when I was younger and I found out that my dad lost his last job for the last time, it's really hard to recognize and understand. You just think, oh, he'll get another one. If you're willing to recognize your ignorance as a child. To go through that feeling myself, pack up the picture of my 1.5-year-old daughter back into my suitcase, clean out my office with not multiple days, just that day, was extremely humiliating. I wasn't sure what to do. Obviously, my confidence took over. I called multiple different places and was able to land a job in less than a day. That told me I could do anything. Lo and behold, I was there for a month and they let me go. I could be very overwhelming when I try to show people new things and new practices that could help efficiency. Most people don't want to change. And I learned if you're doing a new job, keeping your mouth closed, using your 2 ears to listen, and moving incrementally is probably the best result. I wanted to do too much too fast, and because of that, I noticed a lot more pressure and responsibility were on top of me. One common theme that lasted among all that: I work for someone else. Now fast forward 1.5 years, a lot of odd jobs I had to do just to make half of what I was making during my corporate job. Times were really hard, but that's when friends and or family or acquaintances step in. A good buddy of mine that's a firefighter was also a plumber. He gave me an opportunity to work in the morning, and if you've ever done plumbing, extremely humbling. I'm the kind of guy that has self-deprecating humor. In this instance, you have to have self-defecating humor. Woohoo! I was bartending, plumbing, starting my own business, which, by the way, didn't really keep any of the income. Every time I made money with that business, I would have to throw it back inside the business. This way I could support the other employees on my team, the administrative functions, and the ability for growth, which is extremely thin. So the thought keeps creeping in my mind that I need some kind of stability to make anything else in my life work. No job or no work is too obscure for you when you need to support your family. In addition to doing the plumbing, I was introduced to another friend of mine who makes anime comics. Some of them are on the more explicit side, but that doesn't matter. If I'm packing the comics and shipping them out and getting paid for it, that's the most important responsibility you could have for your family. So here I am working 4 jobs, barely making half of what I was doing in my corporate job that I left, and feeling like a lot of stress and anxiety is piling on top of me. Well, luckily, after a lot of grinding and a lot of pushing and networking, I was able to get another job, but in an entirely different industry, and it was mostly in the IT space. I'm really into tech, so I got a full-time job to help support me. Some of you out there would see this as a safety net, but in the last few months I've watched a lot of my friends call me and say, hey, can I work at the brewery? A lot of people have lost their jobs. The industry is very difficult, and some people are worried about the increasing adaptation of AI. All of these things are real, but what I've learned in the last 2 years of grinding it out is the most important decision you can make is go. I'm not a lazy person. There was nothing stopping me from getting out of bed and getting multiple jobs, even if the pay was lower than I was used to. The only thing I would do different was come home and eat to cope. It's why I put on so much weight. When you really break down the finances, if I didn't eat as much, I would save more money. These are basic things. When you're battling certain anxieties and depression, you really need to figure out what the trigger points are and try to overlap it with a lot more confidence and motivation. This series, just as I mentioned in the first video, is me holding myself accountable to get up every morning, take the minimal amount of effort to film and edit and post, just to get something out there and delivered to show that I could get up and do it. And the more I do it every day, the more it translates into other things. I stop procrastinating. I stop putting things off. This YouTube video is not a get-rich-quick scheme that I'm trying to use and preach to each of you. For me, it is more about my own mental health. I'm putting this video together to create a timestamp, to learn how the focus looks on my camera, to learn how that one little feature on Adobe Premiere or iMovie or Final Cut Pro works, to get re-motivated to take beautiful pictures of the sunset, or maybe do a music video, something that I've been trying to do for a while, or go to a game, or go somewhere with my daughter and take some really good images and create internal videos for my family. I'm a creator. I love creating. And if I could turn certain things into businesses, like weddings, like events, these are things I want to do again. When drones were coming out in 2010, 12, on a commercial scale, I was one of the first people to have this big bulky drone with no insurance for about $1,200. It crashed and broke, and then I was afraid to ever use one again. I did one wedding video, and now I blinked and drones are everywhere. They're smaller, they're cheaper, they got more features, and people are making so much money with them. That's another opportunity I did not recognize in front of my face. Each and every one of you has something you're passionate about. You just need to identify what it is and stop being scared of doing it. As I mentioned in the first video, analysis paralysis. We need to stop acting like we're the most important person in the entire world's movie. Instead, we need to look at it as, what am I passionate about doing? What do I want the end result to look like? And how can I have fun during the process? This season and series of Starting Monday isn't about success, making a lot of money, losing weight, although those are goals I have. It is more about showing up and being consistent. It's being useful. It's trying to create purpose again. And that's what I hope to achieve in this video. Be comfortable with being uncomfortable and taking that next step into something you've been thinking about and wanting to do. Don't worry about getting rich overnight, and don't thumb your nose at an opportunity for someone who will pay you if you really need the income. I found that whenever I took a job somewhere, it always gave me the experience, the network, or the communication to open another door where I'd least expect it. So focus on yourself, having a good time, getting after it, and being consistent. This is All Around Mills. I'm Chris. Thank you for your time. And once again, Starting Monday. Be sure to hit the subscribe, like button, and give me a comment about what video you think I should do next. Feel free to bust my chops too. Ask me how my weight loss journey's going. I'm taking on all challengers.